So I was browsing Amazon the other day, trawling for physical media like the fossil that I am, when I stumbled across Space Jam, and I was intrigued. You see, I remember liking this movie as a kid, but I'm also keenly aware that children have no ability to discern quality. You show them something loud and colorful and they'll clap like a goddamn cymbal monkey. Most people would just accept this film's reputation and move on. But I'm not most people, I'm autistic. And that means I have something of an obsessive personality, and I'm obsessed with the Looney Tunes, much to the chagrin of my wallet. Now for those who don't know, the Looney Tunes are— wait, what the fuck am I doing? You know what the Looney Tunes are! These magnificent bastards have been entertaining the public for going on 6 generations now. You love them, your parents love them, your grandparents love them, etc. People love them so much that in the early 90s, someone had the bright idea to pair Bugs Bunny together with fellow superstar Michael Jordan to sell Nikes. These commercials were so successful that Warner Brothers decided that pairing Bugs Bunny with Michael Jordan was just dumb enough of an idea to make a feature film out of. And I want to watch this film, see if it's any good, and make some jokes along the way. Have I piqued your interest? Alright then, let's get started. Our story begins with a young Michael Jordan playing basketball at ass o'clock in the morning. I must say, this is a lovely song they're playing. Who sings this? Oh god damn it! His father tells him to go the fuck to sleep, lets him shoot a few more hoops, and then shits all over his dreams.
When you're finished with that, I suppose you're gonna fly, huh?
This engenders a sense of spite in young Michael, and this gives him all the motivation he needs to become the best damn basketball player known to man. Yeah, that's right, fuck you, LeBron James. After a 3-minute montage showing how awesome Michael Jordan is, he makes the best joke in the movie.
But I think I'm gonna go and play professional baseball.
Meanwhile, in space, we cut to an amusement park only moderately more deadly than Action Park, where an alien child lets out a scream of enjoyment, only to then turn to his father and tell him never to bring him back here again. Danny DeVito's character— hold on, what the fuck's this guy's name? Swackhammer? Yeah, I'm not calling him that. Danny DeVito bemoans that his amusement park sucks ass and mistreats his employees. He sits on a remote and turns on a series of better movies and hedges the idea to kidnap the Looney Tunes, and like a true leader, delegates this task to his underlings. We return to Earth, where Michael Jordan's baseball career is going about as well as you've heard. The catcher is a fan of his and telegraphs all the upcoming pitches. Michael Jordan still strikes out, and his team praises him anyway. We then meet Stan Podlack, played by Newman from Seinfeld. He's been assigned to be Michael Jordan's personal bitch. A rocket then flies overhead, burrows into the ground, and into Looney Tune land. On the ground, Elmer Fudd is hunting Bugs Bunny, played by not Mel Blanc, because he was dead as shit at the time. He is instead played by Billy West.
Billy West? What a stupid, phony, made-up name.
Elmer is ready to execute Bugs for the crime of being an adorable woodland creature, but is given a splitting headache by the Nerdlucks. Yes, that's actually what they're called. They're too stupid to recognize the main guy they're supposed to kidnap, so Bugs paraphrases his opening gag from A Wild Hare like the stinker he is and walks off. Unfortunately, the Nerdluck stupid pills wear off and they take Bugs prisoner. Back in the real world, Stan gives Michael a ride home in his 19-something shitsmobile. Stan prostrates himself to Michael, and Michael politely tells him to fuck off. Michael is then sexually assaulted by his dog, his wife and kids come home from baseball, and a bootleg ESPN anchor tells him how much he sucks. Even his son joins in on the roasting.
I think you should open up your stance a little. It might make you more aggressive at the plate.
Michael then switches the TV over to the Looney Tunes, incorrectly states the Roadrunner's catchphrase as beep beep. It's meep meep, you uncultured swine! And Porky Pig interrupts the cartoon to call an emergency meeting. At said meeting, the Nerdlucks declare that they are turning the Looney Tunes into slaves. Laughter ensues. The Nerdlucks then reveal that they have guns, and everyone immediately surrenders. Bugs, however, devises a clever ruse to foil the Nerdlucks' plan and scribbles some bullshit on some scratch paper. The Tunes confer on how to best defend themselves. Sylvester reveals himself to be an unrepentant psychopath, and the group decides that they should challenge the Short Kings to a basketball game. The Nerdlucks are unsure what that is, so a short film is presented on the subject from back when goofy white guys ruled the earth. This gives the Nerdlucks the idea to steal the skill from NBA players, so they stuff themselves in a flasher jacket, and Patricia Heaton suspects that they're jerking off. Her husband Dan Castellaneta doesn't give a fuck. The Nerdlucks turn into energy creatures and sap the skill out of Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing, who do an excellent job of mugging for the camera. Patrick Ewing even kills a man. Off-screen, the Nerdlucks also sapped Muggsy Bogans, Sean Bradley, and Larry Johnson. Michael is thankful to have left the sport before he was turned into a talentless hack, as he can only afford to suck at one sport. Stan then pops his head in to rapid-fire some product placement.
Get your Hanes on, lace up your Nikes, grab your Wheaties and your Gatorade, and we'll pick up a Big Mac on the way to the ballpark.
It's incredibly forced and jarring, much like this segue for our sponsor. I'm just kidding. In LA, the Lakers are refusing to step onto the court. The owner, or coach, I'm too stupid to tell, informs them that they must take to the court, so the Lakers don some gas masks. Back in Looney Tune land, Bug discovers that no one knows how to play basketball. Daffy dresses like a basketball player got puked on by a pimp, and the nerd looks turn into the Monstars. Porky then shits himself. Michael is playing golf with Larry Bird and Bill Murray. Bill floats the idea of joining the NBA, and Michael shoots him down on account of Bill's negative 3-foot vertical. Stan continues to be pathetic. Bugs then magnetizes Michael's ball, which has no metal in it, into the hole. Michael goes to retrieve his ball and is kidnapped by the Looney Tunes. Larry, Bill, and Stan are only mildly perturbed by this. Michael meets Bugs, sort of just accepts that cartoons are real, and is sexually assaulted for the second time in this movie. Daffy shoves an ear scope in Michael's earlobe and gives him a clean bill of health. Bugs explains the situation, and back topside, Larry and Bill leave Michael for dead. The Toons show Michael their facilities. Michael tells them to clean it for God's sakes, and use the power of spit shine to clean the place up. As we all know, spit is only rivaled by duct tape in its ability to fix shit. Broken roof? Rub some spit on it. Flesh wound? Spit in that thing. Your wife's leaving you? Spit on that bitch. What have you got to lose? The Monstars bust in and start mocking Michael. They then crush him into a shitty special effect and dribble him around. They then insult his lack of follicles, beat the shit out of Tweety, and Michael finally agrees to coach the Looney Tunes. We then cut to an inner-city basketball game where Charles Barkley is looking on longingly while Barry White's dulcet tones annihilate my subwoofer. He invites himself to the girls' game, he immediately gets the ball stolen from him, and the girls sniff out that he's a hack and tell him to be gone. The talentless players go to the hospital to go through some tests to determine what's wrong with them. The therapist asks Patrick Ewing if his dick still works, Charles Barkley prays for God to kill Peter Parker, and Muggsy Bogans believe this is just the planets being out of alignment or some shit. Back at Schlesinger Gym, I understood that reference, the Looney Tunes are trying their best to learn how to play basketball, and their best isn't good enough. We are then introduced to the patron saint of furries, Lola Bunny. Bugs tries to woo her, and is about as smooth as 50 grit sandpaper. Lola and Bugs then play some one-on-one. Lola wins, tells Bugs not to call her doll, and Bugs gets an erection. Michael accidentally rips the floorboard with his cleat and sends Bugs and Daffy to get his sneakers and nasty-ass shorts. Daffy and Bugs fuck up Michael's yard. Daffy is killed by a dog, and the two of them ransack Michael's house. They find his shoes quickly enough, but when they go looking for the shorts, they discover that the dog has grown to the size of an adult lion. The dog prepares to eat Bugs and Daffy, but they're saved by Michael's kids, and they collect the shorts without so much as wiping off the dog spit. Meanwhile, back at the talentless hack subplot, a psychic accurately tells them the plot of the movie so far, and the players not so politely tell them to fuck off. Back at the golf course, Stan has upturned more dirt than me when I was burying that body, and by chance witnesses Bugs and Daffy returning to Looney Tune land. Michael suits up with a heavenly glow, and the movie proceeds to jerk him off for a full 30 seconds while Seal serenades my eardrums with his cover of Fly Like an Eagle. Stan has somehow found his way to Looney Tune land, much to the delight of Michael. Stan asks how he can help, and Michael gives him the much coveted position of designated bench warmer. Back in the real world, the NBA coaches have decided that no more games will be played until they can guarantee that no more players will be harmed. Ha! A National League caring about their players. That's a good joke. We finally get to the basketball section of this movie, and you bet your ass I did the Leo pointing meme at all the cameos in this shot. The Looney Tunes prepare for war, and wow, this crowd looks like ass. They use the same character at least 6 times in this one shot, probably more, and every one of them has the resolution of a Game Boy. The Tunes make their entrance and all get a standing ovation, except for Daffy, who doesn't get shit.
Thank you! Thank you! Very funny.
The Monstars make their entrance, and I must say, I like the contrast between the Looney Tunes' natural colors and the Monstars' bright, mostly secondary colors. It's pleasing to the eye. The ref for this game is Marvin the Martian. I get the idea behind that. He's both a Looney Tune and an alien, making him something of a neutral party. Counterpoint, he's also a Looney Tune and would therefore be enslaved if the Tunes lose. The Monstars basically murder most of the Toon Squad, and this dense motherfucker not only never calls any fouls, but toward the end of the movie he tries to disqualify the Toon Squad for not having enough players. Buddy, your freedom's on the line. Call a goddamn foul. In fact, let's have a felonious assault counter for every time the Monstars incapacitate a Toon. Bugs gets the ball, immediately gets it bitch slapped out of his hands, and the Monstars score the first points. Michael gets the ball and passes it to Daffy, who decides that he will not be a tick on this counter and passes it to Granny, who is promptly flattened. She seems into it. Foghorn reminds the Green Monster that violence is against the rules and gets turned into KFC for his troubles. Michael tags and snivels the mouse, who lasts about as long as you think he would. Cut to a montage of the Monstars styling on the Toon Squad, scoring so many points that the scoreboard tells them to give the fuck up. Marvin calls halftime by murdering Sylvester. Stan has the bright idea to spy on the Monstars, discovers that they are responsible for the NBA players losing their skills, and the Monstars discover him hiding in a locker. Michael tells the Toons to stop being such defeatist pussies, and Stan returns from having his ass beat. Does this go in the counter? Sure, fuck it, why not? He explains what he learned from the Monstars, and Porky declares that fighting their imminent enslavement is a bad idea. Ah, I see only the smartest individuals are allowed on this team. Bugs tricks everyone into thinking he's giving out steroids, and that raises their spirits enough to not pussy out of the game. The Toon Squad remembers that they are, in fact, the Looney Tunes, and employs some of their patented hijinks to start evening the score. The Monstars crush Wile E. Coyote's windpipe in response. Michael even weaponizes Pepe Le Pew's stink. You know what would be stupid? If Pepe wasn't allowed to be in the movie on account of him being a sexual harasser, but then the rapists from A Clockwork Orange were in the movie. Danny DeVito calls a timeout and berates the Monstars for not capturing Michael. Danny and Michael decide to raise the stakes. If the Toon Squad wins, the Monstars have to return the NBA players' talent. If the Monstars win, Michael gets enslaved along with the Toons and be forced to play basketball with the unwashed masses. We return to the game, and now the felonious assault counter is about to go crazy. Wile E. Coyote fucking explodes, Porky is turned into a pressed ham, and Sylvester loses one of his lives. Michael gets bitch slapped, Elmer is crushed to death, and Foghorn and Taz lose some teeth. Foghorn is then used to tee off Tweety. That counts double. Daffy is crushed so hard he becomes a quadruple amputee, and Michael gets shoulder checked. One of the Monstars attempts to crush Lola, but Bugs pushes her out of the way, and Michael calls a timeout. We get a shot of the Looney Tunes who got knocked out of the game, and Jesus Christ, look what they did to Speedy! Out of options, Michael reluctantly tags in Stan. Stan is immediately pancaked, but still manages to score some points. He is then reinflated by the medics, and am I allowed to show this on YouTube? Michael asks how the fuck that just worked, and Bugs and Daffy explain that anything is possible in Looney Tune land. Marvin informs Michael that if he doesn't find a fifth player immediately, the Toon Squad will forfeit the game. On cue, Bill Murray decides that he wants a bigger paycheck from this movie and shows up right the fuck out of nowhere. Danny DeVito then makes the real best joke of this movie.
I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this picture!
That made my Ghostbusters loving ass laugh so hard I couldn't breathe. Bill attempts to make a plan to defeat the Monstars, only to have his aspirations dashed when he learns that the Toon Squad is on defense. Michael then comes up with the high concept plan of steal the ball and give it to me. Daffy catapults himself into the orange Monstars' gut, allowing Bill to steal the ball and pass it to Michael. A series of passes later, and Michael is going for a dunk. The Monstars attempt to drag him down, but he uses the power of a shitty special effect to win the game. Bill then decides that his everything hurts and goes the fuck home. The Monstars embrace communism and seize the means of production. And by that, I mean they stuff Danny DeVito into a rocket and fly him to the moon. Methinks he will not be playing among the stars. Michael forces the Monstars to give back the talent they stole, and the Looney Tunes let the Nerdlucks stay with them. They have never had a significant appearance in anything ever again. Michael tells Bugs to stay out of trouble and fucks off. He returns to the real world just in time for the big game, and god damn it, it's R. Kelly again. We skip the impending tragedy that would have been that game and meet back up with the talentless hacks. Charles Barkley is an asshole to Muggsy Bogans.
I'm nothing now, just another short guy.
You got that right.
And Michael gives them their talent back. Michael then old yellers his baseball career and becomes a basketball player again. Bill bemoans his lost basketball career, literally tells him to shut the fuck up, credits roll. Huh, that was a lot better than I thought it would be. It's not a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination, but given its reputation, I was expecting a train wreck, and what I got was alright. The movie has a few good laughs, is pretty to look at, and has a banger of a soundtrack. No, seriously, this soundtrack slaps. I've had the Seal version of Fly Like an Eagle stuck in my head for over a week now. I highly recommend you check it out. It has a few R. Kelly shaped shit stains on it, but if you can't get over that, that's what the skip button's for. I think this is a perfect background noise movie. Entertaining enough to keep your interest, but not so entertaining as to demand your attention. Now I know that sounds like a backhanded compliment. I'd give this a 6 out of 10. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. My name is Mr. Monto96, and I'll see y'all later.